Hello everyone, how are you today? My name is Carolina and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. So, as per on brand, I guess you could say, with my channel, it has been a hot minute. I believe my last Flosstube video was end of May, beginning of June 2020, so about 6 months, really kind of going on the 7-month mark here. Mainly, I think it was because I just kind of lost my stitchy bug for like 3-ish months. June, July, August, like 3-4 months, and then in November it came back full force and I went ham on one of my favorite projects, which I'll be showing you shortly. So yeah, Happy New Year everybody. I know we're kind of in February now, but I think like now that I'm settled into the new year and I've got a kind of, my plans are already going as far as my crafting goes, I think I'm ready to do the video and kind of share with you what those plans are. I did think about what I was going to do. I was like, should I do a WIP parade? And I was like, no, that's going to take way too long. I did do one last year. It was 2.5 hours long. Feature length WIP film length. It was crazy. But I decided not to do that this year just because unfortunately I did not meet my goal of whipping down. And I think that was because around this time last year, in Virtual Stitchers, kind of the rumblings of No New Starts 2021 began. And I was like, I'm down. I want to, have no new starts so I can lessen my whips, and I can actually kind of start focusing on that this year, which was last year, 2020, and that did not happen. Life happened, and because I lost my stitchy bug, I guess at the end of the year I wasn't like in that like crafty headspace to set up like the official No New Starts 2021. So if you haven't heard of that, unfortunately it is a closed group right now because you had to have everything kind of submitted before the new year even started. But the idea is that you would create like a WIP list and a WIP album so that you can be held accountable. When I was first talking about it, it was like 10-15 of us. Then it exploded. There's like hundreds of people, at least over 100 people, and I think that is awesome. But because of that, like, it had to become very structured with the whole WIP list and WIP album, and all sorts of things. So I just wasn't in the right space to set that up. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for myself because I want to do it, and then I can still interact with everybody, but I'm not doing it officially with the WIP album. But I am doing that this year. So last year I started the year with 47 WIPs. This year I started the year with 46 WIPs. Not the exact same 46 WIPs. Obviously that's a net loss of 1. So yay! I'll take what I can get. But yeah, I definitely did not whip down. I did start things and finish things, so that did happen. But it wasn't a situation where like, I really brought my number down. Now my goal is to get around to the 15 WIP mark, and then maybe even down to 10, because I really like having just a handful of WIPs, not like 1 or 2 that I would want more. So I think 10-15 WIPs is good. I don't think I'm going to get there this year. I'm at 44 right now, because I've had some finishes, and that's not counting like my long-term WIPs, like really big hates that I know are going to take years, but like WIPs that I can manage, finish within like a year, of time-ish. So yeah, so I am making progress. My goal this year is to get down to like the 30-ish WIP mark. Hopefully it could be in the 20s. That would be great. And I have some little things that I think if I can work on those and some bigger projects, I can get there. But we'll see. I have some pretty big plans, so we'll see what happens. So I figured what I'm gonna do. So what I am gonna do for this video is I'm gonna show you the WIPs that I plan on working on this year and touching, hopefully finishing some of them. Most of these are on my WIPGO board, and that is a group that is open if you'd like to join at any time throughout the year. It's WIPGO 2021, which you can find it on Facebook. You can search WIPGO 2021, answer the questions, and request to join, and then you'll be accepted into the group as long as you're cross a cross stitcher, and you can kind of sort of prove that by answering those questions legitimately, you know what I mean? So yeah, that is hosted by Jessie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She created it in 2019 for herself, and she kept talking about it in her videos, so people are like, hey, what's that? That sounds cool. So that's when she opened it up to everybody last year in 2020. So this is the second year that it's going, and I'll actually grab my WIPGO board and show you, so you kind of get an idea of how that works in case you haven't heard of it and are curious. Okay, so I am back with my WIPGO board. I drew it by hand. She has a file you can download and edit if you want to do that, but this is what mine looks like. I just made it, you know, by hand. And you have WIPGO at the top, kind of like bingo. It's basically WIP bingo, and then just 1 through 5 on the sides here. And I have stuff on my lap that is falling, so I'm just gonna set it up here. Okay, so here we go. So you put goals in each box and whatever you want to do. So you see that I have some colored in and some semi-colored in. So I do have a key, so if it's all the way colored in, it's been called and finished. If it's partially colored in, it's been not called, but I did finish it. I happened to pick it up earlier than it was called. And if it's just like outlined, it's been called and I haven't finished it yet. So that is what kind of lets me know what's been called. So what happens is the beginning of, actually the 27th of the prior month, Jessie will roll with random number generator numbers from 1 through 25. Each number is only going to get called once. So if she happens to roll a repeat, she'll roll again. And the only month that you get a 3 numbers is when you get 13, which is the free space, which some people did put a goal in there, but I chose to use the free space. Normally it's called halfway through the year or later, but this year it was just called in January, so we all got the free space. I actually hit both of my January goals, and so I was able to shade them in, and these are the February goals, which I am still working on. She just numbered them across. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So if she calls like blocks 20 and 25, it would be 20 and 25. So that's how that works. And it's kind of like a play it how you like to do it game. Most of my goals are finishes, which might be a little bit reaching, but I'm gonna try. But I do have some other goals. Like I have a row finish for 2 row finishes for one of my Heaven and Earth designs, 2 page finishes for a large tote and crafts I have. I have another full coverage that's smaller, but you know, still not something I'm thinking I'm gonna finish. So the goal there is 75% done. It's a pattern on Pattern Keeper, so Pattern Keeper lets me know what percentage is done as I shade it in, so easy to follow. And I have some where I put like half of the chart, a third of the chart. Some people also do time goals, because I know sometimes you think like, yeah, like I put some finishes on here like at first, and then I'm like, let me change that to a third of a finish. So since my goal is to whip down, I did include a lot of finishes, but the ones that aren't finishes are kind of like setting the projects up to be finished next year in 2022, which I do want to start things in 2022. I'm gonna try and limit myself to 12, so like an average of 1 a month. You know, if I do 2 1 month, then it's fine, but then I'll try not to do it to start the next month. Basically, I wanna not start more than 12 things, because there'd be no purpose of Noni Starts 2021 to whip down if next year I go in and I just start all the things. That's not the goal here, you know? So yeah, so that's my WIPGO board. I'm gonna share basically these projects and just a couple others that I didn't put on my WIPGO board, but I do think I can finish to try and get that WIP number down. So I am going to show you, well actually I figured I'll share some finishes with you. A couple of these you saw in my videos, but since my last one was in June, I figured sharing a couple finishes would be nice. Some I don't have because they were gifts, so I'm going to insert pictures here. And the others I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those. I did actually throw in a picture of one that technically is in the house, but I just realized it's with my husband and he's sleeping, or it's in the room that my husband is sleeping in, our bedroom. So I just figured I'd insert the picture. here. So I hope you enjoyed those. Those were gifted away. And yeah, the rest I do have to show you. So I will be showing you those now. All right, so the first finish I have to share with you is Mermaid of Atlantis. This is by Nora Corbett in her Mirabilia line, and it was my first Mira finish. I do have a few others started, four started, five, maybe five, but this is my first full finish. I have finished their smaller Noras, but not her big ones. So that's what I'm gonna be showing you. Here she is. I did omit the frame. I had originally planned on stitched it, so I actually have a lot of leftover fabric like in the bottom and stuff and the top, but I think I can salvage some of that. This is 32 count linen in Flotsam and Jetsam by Chromatic Alchemy, and here she is. I love her. I did do the skin 1/1. I don't know if I'm always gonna do that. At first I thought I would, but I don't know if I always will. I think I'll be a case-by-case scenario. So I did use all the called for things for her. The metallic, I did sub Petite Treasure braid in, but it's like the colors, the equivalent of the colors of Krynic. So I used a different brand of metallics, but the colors match what is charted. And then everything else is as charted. The beads and the DMC is all as charted, as well as the Karen water lilies. So I love her. I loved her for a super long time, and I was very excited to finish her. I think I'm gonna try and frame her myself. I framed a few things myself now, and I feel like I can do it. And it's something where I can do it in a way that if I don't like it, or if I want to switch it to a professional frame or get it framed professionally, I could easily take it apart and get it done that way. But I think I'm gonna try it. I think I'll be fine. I've laced a couple projects now. I mentioned in my last, at least twice in my videos, that I wanted to do that, and I finally did it. I've done it on 2 projects. They've been smaller projects, but I think I'm getting the hang of it, and I'm very excited about it. The other finish I want to share with you from last year is Mother Moon. I think this was my last big finish before those pictures of the gifts that I show you earlier. But this is by Joan Elliott. This is also a piece where I omitted the frame, and I think I see myself doing that often. I feel like there are some pieces where the frame is kind of necessary to really make the piece, but I think others are charted in ways where you can choose to either do it or not, and it still look okay. And so I decided to do that with Mother Moon here. She is on 32 count Opal Lugana in Meditation by Picture This Plus, and I love that fabric. It's amazing. I've used it before, and I will most certainly use it again. So she is also stitched as charted, except for the omitted border. The only thing that I added is a couple extra beads here, because the frame actually touches here and then goes on to be like a, you know, square. It's rectangle around, but then it touches here again, and then it goes above. So because of that, I added a few extra beads just to kind of round her out a little bit more. But yeah, I used the pattern from her book Bewitching Cross Stitch. It's all Joan Elliott designs. It is by her, and I love her. You know, you can get either a Design Works kit for her, and you can also get the paper pattern now on Joan Elliott. I know I've had some comments mention that sometimes they don't see it on Joan Elliott's website, but I've seen it on there. So you may have to like check on and off. You can also order it from an LNS if you have one, or you can call an LNS that maybe not be local to you, but you're still supporting them. Or if you're choosing to use one of the bigger online retailers, you can also do that as well. But I would recommend maybe finding a local needle workshop that's willing to shop. My local needle workshop, the Cross Stitch Cupboard, will
do that. And there are some other ones like Garong Stitchery will send you stuff. Abby's Top Knot Shop will send you stuff. Trish at 3L Thread. So there's a lot of options. So find a business that you would like to support and order it from them, you know. But yeah, I actually started this with EJ of the Sunshine Stitchers. We were at our LNS, the cross stitch cupboard, where she mentioned she wanted to do it, and I had thought I've been wanting to do that pattern. I have the pattern. Let me go look at the fabric section and see if they have something. And they had my favorite fabric in exactly the size I needed if I were to do the frame, which at first I was maybe thinking I'd do. So I do have a little extra, not as much as with Mermaid of Atlantis, especially at the top. I did fold it over, but I could probably cut a little bit too and salvage some there. I do want to do her companion piece, Father Son. Was going to start him this year. Not going to happen. It's going to be a 2022 start. And I think I'm going to do him on 32 count opal. Oh God, I'm blanking on the name. It basically looks kind of like this, but with blue and white instead of purple and white. Mercedes, yeah, Mercedes, because it'll be like a, you know, a sky, daytime sky background type of thing, and it'll match. It should match in size because it's by the same dyer. So at least very close. So I won't trim this until I have both of them done to figure out I framed them similarly, because they are companion pieces. So then what I do is I honestly take these hangers and I just hang it until I get it framed or fully finished. So yeah, so that's that finish there, and that's really all the finishes I have to share with you. The rest is all WIPs, so get ready, because even though this isn't a full WIP parade, it's still a lot. I have lied to you. I have one more finish, but it's actually one of my WIPGO projects. So this was a draw for January, and my goal was to finish, so I did meet that goal. It is, I know it's gonna look big, but it's a pretty quick stitch. And I do think I am a fast stitcher. I just don't always have the time to dedicate. I do have an almost 3-year-old. She is gonna be 3 this Sunday. Crazy, it's crazy. But anyway, there's definitely, I just haven't had as much time. I've had some more now, especially working from home. I think we're kind of moving towards at least partially going back, so that might change. I might have a little less stitchy time because commuting and all of that. But for now, I've really been able to take advantage of my stitchy time. So I started this as a sal with Georgia Girl Stitching, Megan. I'll link her channel down below. And also Morgan joined us. She is Honeybee Stitcher. She's a fairly new floss tuber. So I will also link her down below. And they also have Instagrams that you can follow as well. So this is Smooth Sea. This isn't the official title. So Emma Congdon, one of my favorite designers, known as Stitch Rovia on Etsy, released a book last year called Cross Stitch for the Soul, and she had multiple designs and they weren't titled. So in the book it just says design 1, design 2, design 3. I think this is either design 3 or design 5. I call it a Smooth Sea. The sal is called Smooth Sea Sal. If you want to join, you can. And this is the final outcome. I did almost everything as charted except for skillful. So the quote says, "A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor." And it was all set up to be in different blues, but something I particularly like to do with Emma Congdon's patterns is to replace one of the fancy scrolly words with a variegated floss. And that started when she did the quotes to live by Sal. I don't think it's available anymore because it was attached to a charity. So there must have been some sort of contract, because she had the patterns available for a while on her Etsy and now they're gone. So they may come back, they may not. But anyway, with that. I did a lot of words in variegated. So sometimes when I do that, I'll go 2 ways. I'll pick the variegated first and then make the colors around it match colors from the word, the variegated floss I used. In this case, I knew I wanted to keep the blues, so I found a floss that had a similar kind of aqua blue to this color, which is charted. And then it also had the red, which there are some pops of red up here. But everything else is charted. I did this on 16 count Aida. And I did it because I showed my hubby the book and I had him flip through it and I said, which one is your favorite? and this is the one he picked. So that's why I decided to stitch this one. I want to stitch all the quotes in the book. She's actually coming with another one this year in April called Cross Stitch for the Earth. I'm definitely getting it, but I won't be able to start anything from it till 2022. So maybe 2022 I'll have a couple Stitcherovia starts in there, which I already have. I already have like 11 things potentially on my list of supposedly 12. So I'll have to get some control. One of the projects I'm starting on there is going to be a long-term project for sure. So technically I have 2 spots still left for like regular WIP. So maybe I'll throw an extra one of hers in there. But that is my first finish from my WIPGO, or my first goal from my WIPGO board met. And it was a finish. So I hadn't shared that with you. I figure for the rest of the WIPs, I'll show you the other January draw and the February draws, and then I'll just go in the order that I have them in my WIP bag, which I will show you momentarily. Yeah, let's get moving with that. Okay, the last project from January was, technically I did this on purpose. This is the one I pulled out in November when I got my stitchy bug back, and I went ham on it. November, December, and a bit of January. I could have probably gotten a little bit more stitched on it, but that first week, the second week of January, I was crocheting the whole week, any spare moment I had, because my sister-in-law got married the second weekend of January, and I wanted to make a blanket for her, and I started way later than I should have. I should have started maybe the first week of January. I kind of underestimated how long it was going to take. It's a crochet blanket, and I will share some crochet. I know this channel is about cross stitch, and it is mainly about cross stitch, but I am getting back into crochet. I tend to do that a lot at the end/beginning of the years, but I really think I'm finally at a point where I've crocheted enough that I really want to try more things and eventually try fancier yarn too. But yeah. I'll share that at the end. So I was already working on this project, and the WIPGO draws for January had been called, you know, before I made my board. I made it like right at the start of January, and she called it December 27th. She does that so we have a little time to plan if we'd like, but ideally you're not starting on the goal till the month. I mean, unless you know it's a huge goal and you want an extra few days, you know, why not? But yeah, when I pulled this out, I was in the first row finishing the first page. I did get a page finished before the start of the year, so a lot of this was stitched prior to January, but I finished it. So I have 2 goals on my WIPGO board for this one, row 2 of pages and row 3 of pages, which seems ambitious, but honestly with Pattern Keeper, it's been such a game changer. It's so easy to stitch because you can select the symbol you want to click, on, and it'll immediately light up all the other symbols that appear on the chart. It'll show you what color it is, and then you can just get stitching. I tend to just stitch cross country, at least with this piece. I don't know, this is a monochromatic grayscale piece, so it's only got 14 colors: gray, white, and grays, white, and black. So it might be different when I stitch something that has, the regular amount of colors, which is usually between 80 and 100 colors for regular charts, and somewhere in the 200 range for max color charts. But yeah, so this is Minnie Unleash the Butterflies by Cindy Nielsen, which I'm sure you want to see her. And I have over half of her done now, 52% according to Pattern Keeper, which is another great thing. It'll let you know what percentage of the piece you have, and also it'll tell you fraction wise, so finished stitches over total number of stitches. So the February draws. There are 2 February draws. One is a stocking of not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 stockings that I have to do this year. Why? Because I was lazy. I could have gotten 2 of them done last year, and I did not. So I really have to get them done this year. Yeah, I kind of feel like Zorg in The Fifth Element. Not 1, not 2, but 3, but 4 stones. 4 4 stockings. And super fast version of the story, so this video isn't ridiculously long. Husband sides of the family, stockings are a tradition. Eldest aunt started it. She made felt applique stockings first and then transitioned to cross stitch. And if you had a felt stocking, you get your cross stitch stocking when you either get married or if a baby comes into the family. So if you get married, you and your spouse get matching stockings, and a baby, you know, just whatever the parent picks. Of course, not everybody is gonna get married, so some people have gotten their upgraded stockings already. Some still have the felt applique and they're still hanging on. But yeah, so eldest aunt isn't really stitching much anymore. She's kind of like over it. She's really more of a knitter. That's her craft. So I offered to take over. So really, I'm hoping nobody else is gonna get married anytime soon or have any babies. And I say that jokingly, of course. Always welcome that, you know, but I just need some time to catch myself up, you know? So this is the first one. It is Reindeer Stocking. It's for our newest baby cousin. And I just started on the reindeer. Let me grab the pattern, the final picture, which is actually behind me. So this is what it's going to look like. Pardon the glare. So I'm working on finishing that reindeer, which is really the bulk of the stocking. Then I'll probably go down to the hedgehog since he's the next largest piece. Then the bird, just because he's already down there. Then I'll probably do the trees and the little cottage, and then I'll go back and do the snowflakes and the name. And then the other WIPGO draw is my personal project. This is Victorian Charm by Dimensions. It's a nice long skinny piece on 18 count navy Aida. I started this the second year I was stitching, 2016, and I started for a sal for Victorian Charm, and I just did like 20 stitches of the ecru in the roof. And I just left it. I literally had not touched it since 2016. So I was like, I need to get some stitches in it. At first I'm like, can I make it a finish? And I was like, no, don't get ahead of yourself. Just make it a realistic goal. And then if you can go back and do more, oh my gosh, my hair is frizzing. If you can go back and do more, then you can go ahead and do more. So yeah. So I've gotten a lot done. It does stitch up pretty fast. Like I said, I am a fairly fast stitcher, so when I can dedicate time to my projects, it really is worth it. But yeah, looks like I'm about to run out of battery. So let me change that and then I'll show you the project. Okay, I am back. I have space. I have battery. Hopefully I won't run out of space. But so this is where I am. So like I said, I only had a little bit of the roof done. So I finished the roof and I did kind of like the third story. So it's a 3-story house. So I've done the third story. I'm working on the second story. Of course, there's 2 towers. My goal is to get a third of this done, which for me, and I put the chart away, but I should have, for me is going to be basically get or is it 4 stories? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, yeah, I guess 4 stories. So I've done this top part. My goal is to do this, and then this top part of the tower here with the roof. I'm not sure if I'm going to include the back stitching in that or not. So basically, this is what my goal is for right there-ish. So I'm not including the blue. If I get to it, great, but I just wanted it to be a realistic goal. But this is one of those that I'm setting up to hopefully finish next year. Yeah, and I figured that's about a third instead of a half because there's, you know, the trees and everything. So there's a lot more stitch heavy down here. So even though it'll be about half of the pattern page wise, there's more stitching. So stitching wise, I think it's only about a third. So that's my goal. And I've gotten a good chunk of it done. So, yeah. One of the things that Jessie's doing this year in WIPGO, which is newer, she's holding a WIPGO weekend every month, because really the goals on your WIPGO board are meant to be done at the end of the year, because it's not always realistic to get the goals you chose done within the month. It depends, like some people have fewer WIPs, they don't have 24 WIPs to choose from, so they'll split up, you know, a WIP into 5 parts, and that's 5 boxes right there that you have. So anyway, but I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, WIPGO weekends. So 1 weekend a month. The goal is to set a goal just for the weekend. So my goal for the weekend is going to be to finish the white pillars and the inside of the window. And that's actually for February. It is tomorrow. So it's Friday through Sunday. So I'll do, you know, you do 1 goal for each draw. So if you had 2 numbers are drawn, drawn. So you set a goal for the weekend. So it doesn't have to be the goal in your box. It just has to be the project in your box, and then what you can get done that weekend. And it could be 10 minutes of time. It could be finish a section. It could be an hour for each day for each project, whatever you want it to be. And then at the end, you know, you submit it. And then the idea is that somebody's going to get a prize at the end of the year. So each time you complete a goal, you get a certain number of entries. And that way she wanted to basically incorporate a prize for the group, because it's kind of unfair to do a prize in general because everybody's goals are different and everybody's time is different. So you know what I mean? So anyway, she wanted it to be as fair as possible. So she came up with the idea of the WIPGO weekend. And if you hit your goal for the weekend, you get a certain number of entries, and then she'll draw 1 or 2, however many people she decides at the end of the year, to get a prize. So it's also a way to motivate you to work in your drawn WIPs in that month, because again, the goals are for the year. So if you choose to just work on it for, you know, like I have my stockings coming up. So if certain stockings haven't been called by like June, I'm gonna have to pull them out, or else I'm not gonna get them done. But if, like, let's say in June, 2 other projects that aren't stockings are drawn, and I really want to work on a stocking, then for WIPGO weekend, I'll make sure I work on the projects that were drawn, so I can, you know, work on it a little bit, get some progress, and, you know, get an entry. So anyway, that's that. So those are all the projects I'm gonna do in order, because, you know, they've been drawn. The others, I'm literally just gonna pull from my WIP bag, which I'm reaching down and grabbing. So I got one of my many tote bags, and I filled this. When I was a math resource teacher at my school, I would go to different classrooms and work with certain students. So this was my bag where I kept like all my stuff, my manipulatives, boards, markers and erasers and everything. So it's a pretty big, hefty bag. So yeah, so I put all the WIPs I want to work on this year. These are all WIPGO WIPs. Some of them, the fabric is, you know, already in a Q-snap or everything, but the project slip is here, and I'm gonna just draw from here. Some of the ones in the back are not on WIPGO, but I want to work on them and hopefully finish them. So I'm just gonna be reaching in here and going in order. So let's see what I've got first. Strike a Balance. This is by Emma Congdon as well. I don't have a finished picture, so let me insert a picture of what that will look like here. So okay, so Strike a Balance. Emma Congdon mainly does quotes like the Smooth Sea I showed you, but she does have other patterns, and some of them, like I said, are not quotes, and this is one of them. So this is Strike a Balance. It is available on her Etsy. It was initially released in Cross Stitch Crazy, which, by the way, I'm on my 3rd magazine subscription by now. I had Cross Stitch Collection, and then that was canceled, and Cross Stitch Crazy, and then that was canceled. So now I'm doing just Cross Stitch. I won't be able to start anything from it, but anyway. So this is from Cross Stitch Crazy, which you should be able to get back issues, but either way, it's much more affordable to get it on her Etsy shop. I think in the Etsy shop it might be called Yin and Yang. Usually the name is different from what it was in the magazine to what it is in her shop. In the magazine, she always publishes it as Emma Congdon, and in her shop it's Stitch Rovia. I think she's contracted for 6 months, so after 6 months she can go ahead and put pattern stuff on her shop. So I finished all of the like daytime, and I'm working on the nighttime, which is a beautiful ocean scene with a whale. You can see my floss there, and my goal is to finish it. It is on my WIPGO board. And I messed up somewhere here. Like when I was making this, somehow this ended up being shorter. I started this when I was either right before I had Isa or right after. Who knows? I was sleep deprived. I probably shouldn't have started it. But anyway, so I had to modify. So I have this blue color that I'm working is taking a little longer than I thought because I have to modify it as I go along. Sorry, I'm just checking the time. I have to modify it as I go along. But once I get that blue in, everything will kind of fall into place around it. So it should be fine. But it's taking longer than I thought because of that. But it really isn't a super time consuming piece as far as, you know, stitching pieces go. But is just gonna take me longer than I thought because I have to modify it. So that's what, I guess what I'll do is I'll insert this in the back of my bag so that I can, and back up, you know, with the beginning. So what's next? Okay, this is Broderia Pari. I started this in StitchCon 2019. It was a StitchCon 2019 start. I was supposed to finish it last year during StitchCon 2020, which was canceled. Right now, StitchCon 2021 is on. I really hope I can go. I don't know if they're going to cancel it. I mean, Needlework Market was canceled, and that's in March. June, the first week of June is really not that far away. So we'll see. But whether StitchCon happens or not, or if I, for any reason, choose to back out, if I don't feel it's safe enough to go, then I'll stitch on this that weekend regardless. So this is by Sue Hillis, and I actually got the pattern signed while I was there by her, and I've loved this pattern for so long. It was one of the first patterns I saw the first time I walked into my LNS, the cross stitch cupboard, when I discovered LNSs were a thing, and I looked at it and I thought, like, I can't do that. I've been stitching, you know, $5 dimensions kits and Bucilla kits from Walmart, which, by the way, some of those Bucilla kits are no joke. Even the like $4 ones, it wasn't even $5, it was like $4.50. It had so much stuff going on in it. It had like half stitches, it had couching. One, like, that's not something you see a lot. It had a lot. Anyway, totally doable. Like, it's really just cross stitches and back stitches. So yeah, I chose to do it in a blue and purple colorway, and I did this because one of the vendors at StitchCon 2019 was Color and Cotton. Ooh, I have a knittle minder on here. I didn't even realize that, and it matches. And so I picked fabric from her section as well as floss, and this is where I am. I actually got a lot done. I believe this was from Melissa, the Cupcake Stitcher, from the Needle Minder swap, and I think I was working on this and she brought it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's perfect. So yeah, the colorway is called it's Color and Cotton, and it's Galactic, and I saw it and I loved it. And fun fact, Leslie of Under the Sea Fabrics was there, and her hair was blue and purple that weekend, so I was like, oh my gosh, my floss matches your hair. It was great. So yeah, my first Color and Cotton fabric and Color and Cotton floss, which actually part of my Stitchy acquisitions is going to be Color and Cotton. So look forward to that. But yeah, I'll be working on this in June for sure. And if it's not called by then whenever it is called as well. So I'm very excited to finish this. I hope I get to do it at StitchCon, but if things don't work out for whatever reason, I'm still gonna have it done this year. Okay, so the next project, this stocking is the bane of my stitching existence. I love the way this looks. I love who it's for. I've had this since 2016. When I first got it, this is for my mom. So thankfully, my mother-in-law, my sweet mother-in-law, stitched the one for my dad. So like I mentioned, husband's family tradition, stockings, married couple gets matching ones. Since my parents had been going to the family Christmas party and getting like the store-bought stocking that they kind of have a few on hand for guests for that year. Like sometimes somebody will bring a friend, or if somebody starts dating somebody, they'll bring them, but they'll just do like a temporary stocking. But they're part of the family. They go every year, you know, as we could. Obviously last year we could not do this party because it's like freaking 40 people. You know, I mean, we didn't even do a small one either. We just did like parents. But anyway, when I first got this, I thought it was perfect. I thought it would be easy because the background is a bunch of like aqua half stitches, but there's so much involved in the stocking. And the main issue is that it's a close-up of a tree. So there's like 10 stitches of this green and 12 stitches of that green and 4 stitches of brown, and then a little bit more of that green. So it's just so much color changing. It's taking way too long. I'm also working on this ornament, and I don't know if something's off. It looks like it's not going to be perfectly round, but I'll make it work somehow. So I'm about halfway. I'm like right here. My mother-in-law finished in hers 2 years ago. I was going to finish the year I had my daughter, but then when with my daughter, being born, I wanted her to have her stocking, so I did that. My mom was cool with that, but then I really should have finished it in 2019, and I did not. And then last year I kind of like lost wind when I knew like we weren't going to even use them. So that's what happened there. So this is where I am. This is what I'm talking about. Like, see, that looks like it's going to be like, I guess maybe it'll come back around. I think my back stitching is off, so I'm going to finish this ornament first to figure out what's going on with that scenario. Then I'll probably come down and do the large ornament, or at least whatever I can fit in this, whatever's open the Q-snap, then finish all the background, and then go back and backstitch. I've backstitched a lot, but not everything. So I need to go back and backstitch some things. I think like now when I pick it up, it's probably gonna go a lot faster than I think it's going to be. I just haven't picked it up. Yeah. Anyway, I'll figure it out. I think I might have to redo the backstitching to make it look rounder. But it's not even on super tiny 8. It's 16 count, which is pretty big for Dimensions Gold. Usually they're on 18 count. But yeah, that is that one. I need to finish it this year. I will finish it this year. I will finish all my stockings this year. Okay, so the next project I have to show you is on my WIPGO board as well. The goal for this one is to finish it. The goal for the stocking was to finish it as well, like I said. This is A Good Marriage by Lizzie Kate. I thankfully was able to get this from somebody on Stash Unload, I believe, because I wanted to do my own colors. And a lot of these are sold as a kit. And I didn't want to pay a bunch for floss I wasn't going to use, which really, I mean, I probably could have used the floss for something else, but, it's fine. I did do a few changes with the little, what do you call this, motifs. I did extra hearts, basically. So I think the bird here, and the house here, I switched to hearts. I don't remember why I did that. I think because there's 2 hearts. I left the flowers because that kind of works with hearts. I don't know, I just felt like the bird and the house didn't necessarily fit, and I wanted hearts, so I did hearts. So I did switch all the colors to Gentle Art sampler threads. Which, are they charted for? There's 1 sampler thread charted. The rest were Crescent colors. But I made all of them into, so the words I'm going to be using Currant and Royal Purple, because purple is my favorite color and red is the hubby's favorite color. And I know these are probably not showing super true to color. They kind of looks like the red is, but the purple is looking kind of just dark. And then there on here you see there's blue, there's a yellow, and there's a green. Oh, and pink. So for the pink, I'm using Hibiscus for, it's an extra skein of the purple. For the green, I'm using Pine, which isn't even the green that was charted, but it worked better with my colors. And then for the yellow, I'm using Gold Leaf. So here is the full color palette for my Good Marriage. Obviously, I want to get this done for the hubby. I did start this in November because our anniversary is in November. But then I didn't. I don't have a blue on here. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to get myself a blue. That's good to know. I guess I'm gonna be having to visit Cross Stitch Cupboard, or maybe, I mean, I have some threads myself. I should have blue. I think I have a blue that I'd like to use. I don't think it's a Gentle Arts. I was trying to make it all Gentle Arts, so maybe I'll just go get something. But I might have a blue, a Gentle Arts blue somewhere. I know I have a Crescent Colors blue. I mean, it doesn't all have to be Gentle Arts. I can just use the Crescent Colors, or I could use some of the Color and Cotton I'm going to show you later that I got. So this is on a 35 count linen. I got it at the cross stitch cupboard. I haven't touched this in years. Like literally, I started it either in 20, I should have had this by me. Do I have it nearby? My little book. Please hold. I have a handy dandy book where I wrote all this down, and I didn't think to pull it out, you know, because why would I do that? I started this in (2017), I think. Yep, November 1st, 2017. So I actually have a list of my WIPs. I redid it at the start of this year because it was messy and I had UFO'd some stuff on it. But I have it split up by year, so I still have 2 WIPs from the first year I started stitching. One is Minnie Unleashed the Butterflies. But yeah, so I have 8 WIPs from 2017 left and 13 WIPs from 2016. Anyway, yeah. So I started November 1st, 2017, and I can do that for all the projects. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. And I really didn't touch it since then. So yeah, 35 count linen from my LNS. Yeah. I don't know why it's 35 count. That seems like a strange count. It's not dyed, so I don't know. I guess it just came out as 35 count. Alright, next WIP. Sorry. Next WIP is, oh, there's a part of my stocking. Bluebeard's Princess by Mirabilia. I am doing a conversion on here. That is the, it's on the Nora Corbett Mirabilia Conversions group in Facebook. Let me write that down as something I want to link. By the way, I never said the date. I just realized that. Maybe I'll film an intro, like a mini intro at the end and put it in at the beginning. I might not do that either. I don't know. It's February 11th right now. So yes. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know why I thought of saying that. But anyway, oh, I thought of saying that because I have to edit this video and I don't know how long that's going to take me. So it is February 11th when I'm recording, but it might not be up for a couple days. And my daughter's birthday is on Saturday, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to try and edit it later today and have it upload overnight maybe, so it can be up tomorrow. So that might work. So maybe you will see this fairly quickly. But anyway, this is what she looks like. I'm doing a light blue, purple, bluish conversion. Like I said, it's on the Mirabilia Nora Corbett Conversions group on Facebook. I will link that. I believe you do have to, I think it's standard now that you have to answer questions to join any group. So I'm sure they're all stitchy related. But yeah, this is what she looks like. For her, I will be doing the frame. And I have her on scroll bars. So I'm going to go get those and I'll be right back. Okay, so these is not on my Omanic because I started this before I got my Omanic frame and it's basted on, so I didn't want to undo it. But this is 28 count opal Gina by Picture This Plus. I'm almost sure it's Picture This Plus. And that's totally upside down. What I do like about this type of scroll rod, and I'm thinking I might get a roller frame with the Omanic, the way you set it up, you can't roll it around. You have to unroll it and take the little rod out and replace your fabric. With this, I could be working here, you know, this is rolled this way, and then within the frame I can, you know, roll it up. So I really like that. So that I'm considering getting a roller frame, but not at that point yet. So this is where she's at. Let me put the, so you can see the conversion. I mean, it's totally my jam. The colors that I love. These are all my favorite colors in one pattern. So I had to. My goal, believe it or not, is to finish this. I don't know if this one's gonna happen, but I am going to try my darndest to do that. I have two other I started two mermaids last year by Mirabilia. So now I have 4 again. Well, I had Mermaid of Atlantis, 2 of her Nora Corbetts, and Aphrodite Mermaid, and this one, which I started in 2017. I can actually tell you. I started it in, I'm pretty sure it was 2017. Yeah, 2017, during Mania, on May 22nd, I did a Mermaid Mania sal. I had this crazy long name with alliteration because I love alliteration. It was like Mirabilia, Mermaid Mania Madness. There was another one in there. There was another M word in there. So I started a bunch of mermaids. And I finished 3 of them. So that's not too bad. I have 2 left, and then I started 2 more last year. But oh well. This is Stardust Fairy by Joan Elliott, the next WIP I have to show you. This was a freebie collab with DMC. I don't think it's available any longer, so I do apologize about that. You can search Joan Elliott Stardust Fairy online to see if you can find the freebie anywhere. I mean, it was free, but I don't know. Like, if it's not on the DMC website or something affiliated with Joan Elliott, I don't know if it's a legal version of the pattern. I don't know. So now I don't think it's available, so I apologize. Hopefully it'll be something that maybe will become available again. I started that also forever ago. I started it on the called for, which was the 14 count Stardust area by DMC, because it was a DMC collab. And yeah, I decided to restart it on an even weave because I wanted to do 1/1 skin, and it was going to be my first 1/1 skin piece. And I've done so many other pieces. I haven't even gotten to anywhere near her skin. But when I restarted, I only had like maybe 2 days of work on it. And this was a 2016 start. June 5th, 2016. 28 count Bashful Lugana Opal. Not sure by who. It was from my LNS. I've been working on the bottom half of the skirt. And that's where I am at. My goal is also to finish this piece. I don't know, guys. Maybe it will happen. Maybe it won't. I think I can make it happen, though. I really do. I tried to pick pieces that I could realistically finish. I think the only thing that's kind of holding me back is the stockings. Like, they are priority #1, and there's 4 of them. And stockings in general are huge. 2 of them are Dimensions Gold, though that the last Dimensions Gold one I just showed you is like the most complex, in my opinion. The other 2 should stitch up faster. So hopefully it's not that unrealistic to want to get them done. But we'll see. We shall see. So, moving right along. Next WIP is also a forever ago WIP. This is Butterfly Vignette by Dimensions Gold Petites. And I started her June 7th, 2016. This is what it's going to look like. Pardon the glare there. Tiny bit done. Just a little bit in the corner. Haven't touched it since then. The goal is to finish this one. I know there's not a lot done, but it's also not very big, and the background is half stitches. So I think I can make it happen. Yeah, like I said, my goal is to try and finish around 16 WIPs this year, which is kind of a lot, but I'm gonna try. I am gonna try. All right, next up, South American Angel by Barbara Batts. B-Batts Sal, B-Batts Angel Sal, Barbara Batts Sal, that's Barbara B-A-A-T-Z. These are older charts, but I think they have online versions now. This is a start for a sal that was started by EJ, my wonderful friend EJ of the Sunshine Stitchers, who lent me this pattern, who was lent to her by our other friend Deb, who you have also seen on the Sunshine Stitchers whenever Sheila was out, when traveling was a thing. So South American Angel, started for the sal, pulled her on once more, and that's it. I really want to do a lot of these. I think there's like 8 or 9. Right now there's 4 that they show on the back. So there's the Japanese angel, the Russian angel, and the Nordic angel. I really like all of them, but I don't like the angel aspect. I don't know why. I just like them as cultural ladies. So I will not be doing the halo or the wings. I just want to do her. And I think she's a really good representation of various traditional dresses in a few different countries. And I know there's unique levels to each one, but she's kind of like a general one that kind of covers a few. I mean, it reminds me of Colombia, which is where I'm from. But I feel like other South American women could connect with her. And she's also a great contribution to the Representation and Diversity Matters sal, which is really great that Barbara Betts did that, because not a lot of designers use other ethnicities, you know, and it's kind of sad. And you know, you want to have inclusion for everyone. We do see a lot of skin tones, light skin tones with brown or blonde hair, but even just red hair, you know, it's still a white person with red hair. That's hard to find. I didn't even show you how much I've done. It's like nothing. Oh god, floss flying everywhere. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, 28 count Monaco by Charles Crafts, one of my favorite fabrics. I just have one color of the hair done. That's it. I was very lucky this fabric worked for her, because at the point we started this sal, I don't think we were in quarantine. I don't even think this was in 2020. When was this? Maybe it was in 2020. No, it was 2019. June 9, 2019. Definitely not in quarantine. But I decided to jump on the sal a little bit late, and I was like, oh, I need fabric, I need fabric. I had this in my stash, and it worked. So that's what I used. Yeah, I want to do a lot of those as well, but yeah, starting with South American Angel. This is a big project, a Bucilla heirloom kit, one of 2 I own. Pain in the butt to sort the floss. They give you a huge wad of floss with like 27 greens, or you know, whatever the colors are in the pattern. It's usually a ton of that shade, blues, greens, reds, whatever, and it's super hard to sort. It's a nightmare. There's only one Bucilla kit I would ever do this for again, and that's Planetarius, because it's a beautiful piece that I covet, and it's UFO out of print, so it's super hard to find. I almost got it one time on eBay, and I was beat in the last like 30 seconds of the auction. It was crazy. Anyway, Quiet Fire by Bucilla Heirloom. This piece is for my dad. I originally thought maybe I can make this one of the pieces I want to finish, but it's huge and I have the tiniest bit done. So I'm shooting for 1/3 of the pattern. So I'm thinking like all of the top and maybe at least the cub's faces. And if I get the log done, that'd be great. But if not, at least the cub's faces and maybe this cub's paws would be a good amount. And this would be one of those like setting up for a finish for next year. This is on 28 count mushroom even weave that's included. Not the best, but it's all right. This is back when I gridded, and I only have a little bit of the black background behind this leaf here. So yeah, definitely not very realistic to finish it if I, you know, because I have so many other large projects in my WIPGO board. This is probably going to be the same friggin' 2.5 hours that I spent on my 47 WIP parade. Hopefully not. I'm hoping to keep this at 1.5 hours maybe, just because it's so many projects. But yeah. I might start just dropping these on the floor and then coming back and organizing them later. The next one I have, this isn't, there it is. Heartstring Samplery Cross Stitch Nation. I started this last year for World Cross Stitch Day, August 18th. I'm doing a conversion for everybody. I'm turning her into another man to have a little bit more man, because I want to have a white dude and a black dude. The middle girl, similar to me, she's in like a Latina skin tone, which that's also being very generic, because Latinos come in all colors, hair colors, eye colors, skin colors as well. But my sort of coloring, and I want to try and have different ages as well as skin tones represented and hair colors represented. So this is where I am. Obviously I changed the dress to my 2 favorite colors, and the thread is my 3rd favorite color, so blue, purple, and aqua teal. I kind of lumped those together, and then she's gonna be green. Her dress is gonna be green and pink. Here. Probably gonna have to come back to this video later in the day, so you might see some light changes after the next maybe 2 WIPs. But yeah, so she's gonna be a green and pink dress, and I haven't decided on the other colors just yet. I think I'm gonna work this way and then go back and work that way. 28 count linen. I think the color's like something like baby powder or baby lotion. I don't remember though. I got it on eBay. Next one, I started this last year. This was one of my actual planned starts for Mania. I started the oldest Mira, and at the time the newest Mira. So this is Damask Roses Mirabilia design number 1. Out of print, but not super expensive. You can, you know, search, get good deals on it. This is on 28 count. I'm almost sure it's 28, but it might be 32. I think it's 28 in Chocolate Milk Jobelin by Hand-Dyed Fabric by Stephanie. Funny story, I thought I hated Jobelin, so I was really surprised this was a Jobelin. And I don't know why I ordered. I think I saw it dyed in Jobelin, and I'm like, I don't want to risk not getting the color I want, so I'm just going to get it exactly the fabric I saw. But I really like it, and I stitched on another Jobelin piece earlier this year, one of the gifts I showed you in the pictures, and that was fine too. So I must have just had a really chunky Jobelin the first time I used Jobelin. But yeah, I got a lot done. I worked on her for 15 days in May. And she stitches up fast in the sense that there's a lot of big blocks of color in her dress. But once I get to like the trees, that's going to be a little bit tougher, I think, because there's going to be more counting involved and all of that. But I really like her. I did do the skin 2/2 on this one, and I just thought it'd be a nice homage to stitch it as exactly as charted. And it looks fine. That's why I'm just like, you know, depending on the project, I might just do skin 2/2, and sometimes I'll do skin 1/1, you know. It's not on the charted fabric, but it's similar, you know, because I wanted it to look kind of like as charted to kind of, you know, pay homage to the original first ever Mira design. The goal is to finish. It's a big one, but I think I can do it. I'm a little bit more concerned about the mermaid because she's got a lot of colors and beads. With this one being the first Mira design, she didn't have beads yet on her design. Well, that's not true. The next one already had beads. So I don't know if she was just practicing or decided not to do beads for this one. But yeah, no beads, no specialty flosses, no metallics, just the DMC. This is a special project because it's in my first ever floss buddy. This is the Elite 90 pocket. I don't think I need to get the Elite again. I was just like dubious and I wasn't sure if I'd be purchasing more, so I just wanted to have the biggest one, which really this isn't even the biggest one. She'll do like 180 pocket ones, and she'll probably do custom ones. I got the Elite because the project I have in here has 100 colors, and her largest I thought was a 90 color. I probably could have asked her like, hey, can you make me something with 100 pockets, or even just do like 135, so like an extra sheet of 45, and she probably could have done that, but I didn't think to make a custom order. I definitely want more of these. I have a big hate I'm starting next year. I'm definitely getting a 90 pocket for that one, which will be enough because there's 89 colors. And I think I want to get one more 90 pocket just to have, and a 45 pocket. And then she has other ones. She has like a 12, a 16. So I might want to get one of every size, really. This is Tilton Crafts Sailor Moon. This is what the Floss Buddy looks like. It's made of fabric and she's got vinyl. The very basic one is just the pockets. So like this. And it perfectly fits a bobbin. But this one has pockets here, pocket here, pockets in the back, and these little mini pockets, and a little clip for scissors or whatever you want. So this would also be good to do like if you're traveling. This can be almost like a project bag. You could have like multiple projects in the floss area, and you can use the pockets to hold the different fabrics. So you could put like 2 or 3 projects depending on how many there are. So this is the black and white picture, but I can insert a picture of the full color version. And this is compatible with Pattern Keeper. I'm doing this 2 over 1/10 stitch because I wanted to try it on 28 count. This is the Monaco by Charles Crafts that I like. I did something interesting. I went around the pattern before Pattern Keeper. So I lined up these pages. It was a pain in the butt. With Pattern Keeper, it's gonna be so easy, and I might do this again for not super huge patterns, but yeah. So this is the size of the piece. I outlined it. I started by doing every single stitch, but the backs were getting super bulky. So I'm like, I don't really need to do that. Why am I doing that? I just need a, you know, like I left gaps where I could, but I still get the general outline just so I can really see where I'm at visually. With Pattern Keeper, I can see the percentage, but yeah. So that's page 1. My goal for this year is to get 2 pages done. I haven't decided if I'm gonna go down, if I'm gonna go cross, or if I'm gonna do 1 and 1. I might go this way just because it'll get me into some faces, but then after that I can kind of jump around. I could technically even go down to this corner, down to this corner, and up to this corner, and really be able to move around the pattern. I think I might do that like after I get the 2 pages started, so I get into some faces. I might do that. I think it'd be a really fun way to do that to see this piece grow. And I did clip some scissors in here just to use the clip that came in here, and of course they're pink because when I think of Usagi, who is Sailor Moon, Serena, if you watch the dub, the original English dub, the Deke dub, it was the classic series was redubbed by Viz with all the original names and no scenes cut out, because there were scenes cut out before. I think the last WIP I'm going to do for now. So again, if you see light changes after this WIP, I apologize. But I do have to start my work day, so I'll probably come back on my lunch break to finish. This is probably going to be so long. But oh well, it is what it is. So anyway, this is the second Busilla heirloom project I have, and this is for my mom. So I figured I wanted to make something for my dad and my mom that were about equivalent. So I figured 2 Busilla heirloom kits would work. This is mother and child. And also the first goal was like, I'm gonna finish it, and I'm like, that is not realistic at all. So I'm settling for a third. So a third for me, I started in her hair. So I think maybe working up her hair and getting her face done, and her hair, like the hair and face done would be, I don't know if that's really a third, but I think that's gonna be my goal. Hair and face, and maybe the veil shroud she has, the head covering she has, I might try and sneak that in there as well. And that I think would be a great setup to hopefully finish next year. So like I said, I started in the hair. There's blue in here though, so I'm a little confused. I might have done a little bit of this part down here. I'll have to look at the chart, honestly, to see, oh shoot, how this goes. Let me look real quick. Okay, so yeah. So I stitched this inside piece here. And it goes like this. So not a lot. Like I said, the sorting of this floss is nightmarish, honestly. It took at least a solid 3 to 4 hours to sort this floss. I jokingly say it took me a fortnight. And I mean, that is in 2 weeks, not the game. I know that's a very popular game with kids right now. And maybe some adults, I don't know, I'm not a gamer. But yeah, it took me like 3-4 hours to sort that floss. And as you can see, this one had a lot of blues. So with the tiger one, I had a hard time sorting the peach colors, and with this one it was the blue and also the peach colors. There's one peach color that I swear I couldn't even figure out, and I'm just gonna have to kind of look at the picture to make sure I'm stitching the right spots. But that'll be for another day. So I will see you guys, in not even a second, but in a couple hours, and then I'll be joining this into one big video. So hopefully it will be maybe an hour and a half tops. Let's hope. Hello guys, I am back. It is later in the day. It's my lunch break, so I hope that the lighting is not too different. I don't think it is because I'm using a lot of indoor lighting. And hopefully you can't hear my hubby in the background. He's working in his home office next door. But I figured I would go ahead and continue with my WIPs, and then finish out with some stitchy acquisitions and finish this up. So the next WIP that I will be working on, and the goal is also a finish, is this Mandala Jellyfish by Awesome Pattern Studio. She releases, since 2019, she's been releasing a cross stitch calendar, but she does have an Etsy store. It's Awesome Pattern Studio. So those are the designs that are included, and like I said, I'm doing the jellyfish. The goal is to finish, so let's hope that works out, right? Sorry, I was thinking of where to put it down. This is where I am. I worked on it for a few days last year, and then I didn't do much, and actually it's picking up the sparkly of the fabric, the sparkliness. It is an opalescent Ada 14 count. So yeah, the goal is to finish. With this one, oh, that is going to be a big difference when I show projects, so I apologize that that's going to happen. But yeah, it's stitched kind of as charted. Like the colors look like the picture, but some of the floss, when I actually pulled the floss, I noticed a little bit duller than what I was going for. So like if it was like an aqua, I still pulled an aqua floss, but more to what I perceived the color to be, because that's why I wanted to stitch it in the first place. So yeah, quick one there. The next one is the next stocking. This is the Dimensions Gold, but this one's a lot simpler in the sense there's a lot of half stitches, like almost all the way up down here. All that background is all half stitches, so it goes pretty fast, and a lot of the snow is also half stitches. So I think it'll be not too bad for a Dimensions Gold stocking, if you catch my drift. And I'm so sorry, the light is gonna keep doing that. That's not going to be fun, so I am sorry about that. I'll have to keep that in mind for future videos, but this is where I am at. This one's, I just started it, you know, to get it started at the end of last year. But yeah, this one needs to be done by, well, they all need to be done by the end of the year. So the next one is a very special project. I was very lucky to be able to grab this for retail pricing from somebody who, you know, offered it to me at that retail pricing. This is Dimensions Gold Scarlet Wizard. He is out of print, and I've been looking for him since I started stitching in 2015, and I was able to get it. So I'm very excited to have this. The Planetarius that I mentioned, like, still gonna do that. I'm so sorry. The Planetarius that I mentioned by Busilla is kind of a companion piece, but the artwork is by the same artist, Miles Pinckney, and Pinckney or Pinkley? Pinckney. He has a lot of wizard patterns. Some of them are on Heaven and Earth Designs, but that's massive, and I hope to get it one day. I hope to get it one day. So let me show you where I am at with him. I just started him, you know, when I received him at the very end of 2019. And he was originally going to be on my WIPGO board for 2020, but then I decided to focus on other projects, and then I stopped stitching, so I didn't stitch on a lot of stuff. But he is in my WIPGO board this year. I plan on doing about a third is what I put as the goal. So I want to finish his face and maybe do, like, I have to decide which hand, probably this hand and his robes here. So you'll see I have some of the face done, so at least get the face and this part of his robes in the hand would be, I mean, that's really maybe a little less than a third, but that's what I see in my head as a third. Maybe I'll go with some of the background too. This is where I am with him. Oh, I'm gonna have to, hold on. Didn't realize it was gonna be quite that see-through with the black fabric, but there he is. So the two last projects on my WIPGO board are full coverage pieces. One is small, one is large. So one is Northern Lights by Carolyn Manning. Let me insert the picture here. And this is where I am at. I am at about 20% of this piece. This is from the Shooting Star collection. She does a lot of this mosaic type looking pieces, and she varies the colorway. So if you like the design but want a different colorway, reds, greens, she has some where it's multiple colors. She has some where it's many shades of one color. Really worth a look. I'm sure you should find something you like. But this is Northern Lights. The last one you're probably not going to be able to see much of at all. So this is a Tilton Crafts piece. It is called Past and Future, or Past and Present in Star Wars, and it's got Princess Leia, it's got Luke, and it's got Han Solo on the bottom in their original appearance forms, and then you've got their three characters now older in the newer movies. I am stitching this for my husband, and he is what he calls a very OG Star Wars fan. He likes the original movies, he likes the books, he'll accept the prequels, but the new ones were just too much for him, I guess. We watched the first one and I thought it was pretty cool, but I guess it destroyed a lot of the canon that was in the books, and if I understand correctly, in the books that there's like 500, he's got like 300 of them. Even though they're not all written by George Lucas, they were approved. So he considers them like that's the story, and things that happened in the movie took away from that. So anyway, he's just not a big fan of the new movies. So I'm only going to do half of the chart, and I'll show you the full one, a picture of the full one and a picture of what I plan to do. I haven't decided if I'm going to leave the background so the heads are kind of popping. I'll show you what I did to kind of show like if the heads are kind of hovering, or if I'm going to try and do some sort of backgroundy stitching so that it's still like a rectangle of stitching. So I'll put those pictures here so you see what I'm talking about. And I've got the tiniest start. You're not even going to be able, that's it. It's a little bit of Princess Leia's dress right there. So this is the bottom right hand corner, which I figured was a good place to start since as you saw in the picture, I cropped it basically, I cropped the bottom of the piece, so I figured that would be the easiest place to start so that I can measure it with the most accuracy possible. The next one I have to show you, I'll have to insert a picture as well. This was a freebie by Chatelaine. I don't think it's free anymore, but it's not very expensive. It's just I didn't look, but I know they said it's like a small fee, so I'm guessing maybe a couple dollars. So I'll insert a picture of what that's gonna look like here. And this is where I'm at. This is on 28 count mushroom Lugana. And did I mark the top? I believe I did, yeah. I made that mistake. Even with the mini Chatelaine, you have to do that. So I marked the top so that I know that this is the top, and I've just got a little bit of that middle sunflower done. Definitely one I can knock out, so that is the plan, to knock that out. The next one I'm hoping to finish, but I don't know. I'm gonna try my darndest to get at least a good chunk of it done, but I'd love to finish it if I could pull it off. This is called I Didn't Do It by Bucilla. I've seen it as a regular Bucilla kit and as a Bucilla heirloom like petite kit. It's the same project, so I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm actually omitting this. I'm just doing, like, I'm cutting it off right here, so that should help some. And I've got most of the blue background done. The only part I'm missing is the part underneath his ear here, in between his ear and face. Or I call it her because it looks like my puppy Sammy. And she's super cute. But yeah, this is where I'm at. It's been like this for at least a few years now. And I did grid this with a pen that's supposed to wash out. So hopefully it will still wash out when I'm done. So yeah, most of the background's done. I just gotta work on the pup. And hopefully it will be faster. It would be fast enough that I can finish it. Not counting, I have a bunch, as you saw, really big WIPGO goals, so it may not happen, but I'm gonna try. I'm definitely gonna try. This next one was what I called my camping WIP. And I think I pulled it out once when I was camping, and then I was also crocheting at the time, so I crocheted more than I stitched, so it really didn't get that much love. And I figured I could just knock it out and get another WIP done. This is my oldest WIP from 2015, guys. This and Minnie Unleash the Butterflies are the only two things that I started in 2015 that are still left. And this is where I am with him. So a little bit of the tail is done. Not a whole lot, but again, he's not huge or anything. So I think what I'll do is that on months where I get maybe a smaller goal drawn, or if I finish my goal earlier than expected, is when I'll pull these projects. As fun as it would be to get progress on all of them, I think I'm going to focus on one at a time and then move on to the next one, because then, you know, if I get a bunch of progress on all of them but I don't finish it, then it's kind of still defeats the purpose. Second to last one, guys. This is a Little Mermaid Sleeps here, or it's just called a Little Mermaid Sleeps by Lion Needle Art Designs. I got this 2018 Market Day at my LNS. They actually saw it, one of the ladies that went to market, and she immediately thought of me because I had my daughter that year. I had just had her, and her nursery was all mermaid and under the sea themed, and I love mermaids in general, so she got this for me, and I had to purchase and start it. I'm doing it mostly as charted. Well, I lie. I re-charted the little because I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't like the font as much. And I'm just going to do all of her in like a blue, in a light blue instead of having that. And I might not do her name. I might not. I think I will. I probably won't do the birthday though because I did already stitch a birth sampler for my daughter. I decided to do this on 40 count because I wanted it to be small and cute. And it's been alright. It's been alright. So I got a good amount of it done. I just need to finish it. It's the only 40 count piece I have. I don't know if I'll do much stitching on 40 count. It's not horrible or anything, but I like the bigger counts. Like I like 32. I have that one Lizzie Kate on 35, but my preferred is 28 or 32. And last project, this is a Sal from 2015. I did not start it in 2015, however, by PALKO. It's either a Russian or Hungarian website. I'm not sure which, but it's a monthly, like block of the month type of thing, and I've got half of it done, so I've done up through June, and I'm pretty sure I can knock this out this year. So I'm gonna have to get real close. So I did each block in a different variegated floss, that kind of reflects a theme for the month. Now, I live where it's very hot. It does not snow here, but you know, make it a little more fun. February, March, April, May, June. Oh, I've got till July, so I'm technically more than halfway done. June, oops, and July. One of the reasons I stopped this is because I've been very indecisive about what floss color to use for August. And I still think I'm not sure. And I think what I might do because of that is I think I might do my September block and the last, because I mean I can just move down here. I'm so sorry, I'm like holding this terribly. Because I've been so indecisive about the August block, I think I found the floss I want to try. But I feel like, I mean, I've already done this in one color and I picked it out. Not the whole block, mind you, just enough of it to be like, this isn't working. I think what I might do is just do the September block, do the October block, do the November block, do the December block. Then go back and see what my choices are for August. The only thing I really think of August is back to school. I know that September is back to school for a lot of people, but where we are, August was back to school, and for a long time I was a K through 12 teacher. I now work in higher ed, so I'm kind of year round, but for us, school goes back to session in August. So I like when I think back to school, I think like bold colors, like blues and reds and greens, so maybe I can find something in those schemes. But the thing is, I'm using, you know, a red, gold, and green floss for December. I'm using kind of similar one for November. It's got like orange and green and brown and yellow to be like harvesty colors. I don't know. I think the best thing for me to do is just to skip August, go to September, October, November, December, and then go back and see what color I think is going to fit there. This is actually a sparkly fabric flare even weave, but it's not like weaved in. I think it almost looks like it's sprayed on. I don't think you can even, I'm trying to get it close to see if it'll, I don't know. So it's just kind of like white even weave, honestly. But I really like it. I think it's very nice, fairly quick, if I'm honest. I just, you know, hadn't picked it up. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that one. And that, my friends, is the last WIP I have to show you today. We'll see if I pick anything else up, if I even get to some of these non-WIPGO WIPs, if I hit all my WIPGO goals. I do not know if that's going to happen, but I'm certainly going to try. The last thing I have to show you is color and cotton. So I've been thinking for a while I want to start getting more fancy flosses, and I thought about which ones to get. Color and cotton is very affordable and they're gorgeous. You saw in my Broderia party that I'm using one of her colors, and I thought about how I wanted to do this. Now obviously right now Floss of the Month is full anyway, but I don't think I'd work well with any Floss of the Month club, just because I think I'd want the option to buy different things. The way my hubby and I budget, we do leave ourselves a little amount every month for personal expenses, for anything we want to get ourselves, but sometimes I want to get certain things. I'm into crochet more, so yarn. I like doing my nails, so I'll get new polishes, new things. Or sometimes I'll need to use it for something else, you know. I just want to get myself an extra coffee, and I wouldn't put that in like our food budget. It'll just be like a personal treat I had. So signing up for Floss of the Month would take away a good chunk of my budget every month automatically, where I might maybe not want to use it on that month. So what I decided to do is every month, if I'm wanting to spend on cross stitch stuff, I'll get anywhere between 10 and 12 colors, and I think I'm going to focus on color and cotton because I really like her floss. They're affordable, and I think it's a great collection to build up. I did, however, sign up for the fabric of the month, and the reason for that is because Megan of Stitching May mentioned in her latest video that she just got on, and she's been on the waiting list for a year. So I figured, what the heck? I mean, she still asks, you know, when you get on, like, hey, do you still want this? I think that I'd be willing to do. And just know, like, whenever I get on, that at least for 6 months but probably for the year, I'd like to stay on to build up my fabric stash. I like that because with fabric, I was even pickier with a fabric of the month, because as much as I like the fabrics, they can be very wild and crazy, and I'd rather pick that myself. But with Color & Con, pretty much all her fabrics I think would work with a lot of projects, so I think it'd be a good one to have, and I think I'd be willing to sacrifice some of my monthly budget for that fabric. But with floss, I feel like it's so varied that if I just wanted a group of floss from a dyer, I might pick different ones. Maybe one month I'll get Thinky Dyes, who knows. But I think fabric of the month, I'd be willing. I know I just gave this whole spiel, but I think with floss, it's just, to me, it's not worth it for a floss of the month because I want to have that variety. But for fabric, I think it'd be great to have, and I'd be willing to sacrifice at least 6 months of that summer, because it wouldn't take all of my budget, but it'd be a good chunk to that. So we'll see. I guess in February 2022, maybe I'll be on the club. So anyway, I picked 13 flosses. I got a little bit more because some were on sale. They're normally $2.50 and some were $2, so I got a few extras. I got 13. But I would say, like, when I do order, I'll probably order around 10 flosses and then build up my collection that way. So I got Wisteria, I got Purple Iris, like I mentioned, blue, teal, aqua, all my favorite colors. So I got a lot in that color range. I got Wild Berry. I got Sabrina. I got Sandcastle. I really tried to vary it up a little, because if it were up to me, I'd get all the purples, blues, and probably pinks and greens first. But I did vary it up. Enchanted. Aztec. Sweet Potato. Trying to angle these so they're as true to color as possible. Witch's Brew. Carolina Blue. Tempted to say Carolina because that's my name, but I know it's supposed to be Carolina. I'm pretty sure. Snow Cone. Egyptian. And the last one I got is Peacock. I did want to share my crochet with you. If you want to head out because you're not interested in crochet, that's totally fine. I crocheted on and off at the end of the year usually, and most of the stuff I made is really gifted. So the last two things I made were 2 different blankets. I'll insert a picture. I don't have very good pictures of either, but I'll insert them just so you can get an idea here. And I'll show you what I'm working on right now. And it's the tiniest start. I am making a blanket for myself and the hubs. This is a granny rectangle instead of a granny square. And this is the Bernat Strata yarn. It is new. Let me show you what the label looks like. I got a dark blue that you saw, the light blue, and that's what the label looks like. It's worsted weight. It's acrylic, but it's surprisingly very nice and soft. I got a light gray, and I got a dark gray. So the goal is to use all 4 colors in the blanket. I got 2 balls of each of the blues and 1 of each of the grays, so it's definitely going to be mainly blue with gray accents. And I'll decide as it grows when I switch off colors, so I don't have a particular pattern in mind, but we'll see. So that is everything. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments down below. I did make notes for myself to link stuff, but sometimes it takes a little while because while you edit it and it goes up, and then it takes some time to actually be live, and then I'll go back in and edit the comment box. But yeah, definitely let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the comments down below. Thank you for coming and watching my video, whether you're new or returning. I am very active on Instagram, so I will display my Instagram here, and you can go follow me there. And I hope you're having a great stitchy day, stitchy week, stitchy month, stitchy year. And I hope things are going well for you and your family, and that you guys are staying safe and healthy. The biggest hug from me to you, and I'll see you hopefully in about 2 weeks. Bye.